traveling. I'm going to talk about my experience and the things which are important to me based on my mind map. As you can see, I really love traveling. It makes me feel great and forget about my worries, about everything, and just immerse and experience the culture of the place I go to. Well, first of all, there is a point like preparation. Yeah, preparation. So, what does it mean? It means to plan your trip, to plan the route. It is important, even if you don't like planning. It can be really basic. Just you should find out to do some research about the cheapest options if you don't want to end up overspending. Well, you should get a visa. In some countries, you don't need a visa. If you go to Thailand, for example, you don't need a visa. It depends on the period you go to, but normally you don't need a visa if you go like for 1 month or so. And the same situation is about Turkey. But if you go to some other countries, you need a visa, and each country has different conditions for getting that visa. When I went to UK, I had a multiple entry visa, and when I went to India, I had a single entry visa. I think that most people buy tickets online nowadays. Uh, what else? Then you go to the airport. And it is very important to catch your flight, so you need to come there in advance. I normally come there like in 2 hours. It's better to come in advance than to be late and miss a flight. Sometimes with some companies you might have problems if you exceed your baggage allowance. Normally it is with low costers like Победа. If you exceed your baggage allowance, then they're really strict. They have that special box and you should put your hand baggage in it, and if it doesn't fit, then you have to pay some extra, and sometimes it's not such a big amount of money, but the procedure is quite long, and you should go to some special department and so on, and that's why it takes time, and you can really miss your flight in some cases. So you should be really careful with low costers. If your flight is really long, you can have a jet lag. I've never had that. I don't know. When you went through the check-in process, when you went through security check, you just sit there and wait for boarding, and you have your ticket. Yeah, so that's okay. And you can have some carry-on baggage. I normally take a small bag with me, and I put my bigger backpack or my suitcase. I just give it out as my luggage. When you come to the place, you should have thought before about the accommodation. Sometimes you can find accommodation, really perfect accommodation, spontaneously, but you should be cautious about it. When you come to some really popular hotels spontaneously, they can be fully booked. But you can go to a hostel or some smaller hotel and ask if there are any rooms available, or maybe beds if we're talking about hostels. So you can stay in a hostel, and sometimes it can be even better than in a hotel, as it can be really authentic and interesting and friendly place. I like to book places where breakfast is included. It is a really good point. You can eat your breakfast and you can take some food with you and go sightseeing. So when you go sightseeing, you can take a tour or an excursion. Sometimes I do it maybe in some Russian places. When I travel across Russia, sometimes I do it. But I don't like doing it in foreign countries. When I go to the country, And I know that I have read a lot about the culture of that country, and I know a lot about the places of interest. And then I can visit them on my own. If I go to some really secluded places and really unique places, then I try to pick up a local guide and to find some local guy who would tell me not that kind of touristy basic information, but some really amazing facts, and would show me some really unusual places which only locals know about. Some people like to take audio tour. I don't like that option. I've never used that. And actually, I'm kinesthetic. I like to touch and feel and experience everything. And I can't memorize anything when I just hear about it. My brain just doesn't get that information. Sometimes, if talking about transport, you can use local transport. I normally use local transport, and I never hire a car or something as I don't have a driving license. But people who have, they say that sometimes it is way cheaper and it is more comfortable, as you can just go somewhere to some place, any place you like, and you can pull over at any point and enjoy a beautiful sunset or beautiful view. So maybe it is quite convenient. But if you travel by car, if you hire a car, I think you'd better get insurance, as there might be some problems, like to get a flat tire, you can get a flat tire, or maybe, what else? Get into a car accident, yeah. I prefer to travel by trains, planes, or ferries. I don't like traveling by cars that much. If to talk about emergencies, sometimes you can get lost, but I think that it's not an emergency, it's not a big problem. Normally there are people around you, and you can always ask questions, and questions can really get you far. What else? You can get robbed. This is a serious problem, and luckily I have never had such experience, and I hope that I'm not going to have it. It is really unpleasant, and actually, I have never even thought of it. I don't know what to do in such situations. You can faint sometimes, yeah, if it is a hot country, or maybe if you don't drink enough water, or if you don't eat breakfast regularly, then you might faint. And if you have some health issues, it can happen also due to the change of climate. Yeah. I had such experience, but I can't say that it is an emergency. You just faint, and if there are friends around you, they will help you. If there are no friends, normally people are eager to help anyway. So there are more caring and kind people in the world out there than you think. That's it.